Episode 333, Sheri.
Wow.
Glad it's not double that. 666. That would be devilish.
Mm-hmm. Is that what Damien from The Omen had marked on him in that movie?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I just know if you play all 333 of our episodes back, you'll hear some satanic worship. 666.
If you play them back to back?
No, if you play them backwards. Did I say play
okay.
them back?
Yeah, you
backwards?
did. I was like, wait a second.
If you play all of our 333 episodes backwards, you'll get the satanic messages. This podcast has been here for all these years just to develop for you. You know what else it would mean if we were on episode 666?
That we would be doubling the amount of podcasts that we have currently.
We would be 6.5 years older than we are right now.
Oh, wow.
That would make us pretty old. One of us would be pushing another decade.
6.5. Okay. I'm not even going to try to do the math.
Yeah.
Anyhow.
50 episodes a year. That's a lot. Anyway, we're only on 333. We're just but a new podcast. We appreciate you giving us a shout, listener, giving us a chance. Sheri, it turned cold here in Denver. It is January, but it took until the second half of January for winter to arrive. I was, this past week, getting ready for a run, and you offered to give me a ride to the church, which is where I was running, the church where you work. Mm-hmm. And also, not only is it where you work, but it's where my exercise machine is currently located, because we are living the American dream here. We have a house, but we can't have our own stuff in it because it's staged for sale, even though right at the moment it's not on the market. So that makes it even more awesome. Mm-hmm. But anyway, my exercise machine is in the basement of our church. And so I was getting ready to go for a run, and you couldn't help yourself. You offered me a ride, even though obviously the run was a big segment of the exercise I was trying to get.
Well,
I think that caregiving instinct is just, it's ingrained in you.
I think when you tell the story like that, it seems a little ridiculous.
Okay. How would you tell it?
I would tell it like this. For a while now, you've struggled to run. You've done all sorts of stuff. And I'm saying a while, like years. There are certain times of the year you've thought it was GERD, or you thought it was this, you thought it was that. You thought you were just dying.
What do my kids call GERD? The leaky sphincter disease?
I don't
the
know.
upper sphincter!
They just say, dad's hypochondriac.
Oh, no. Is that what they say behind my back? It's fine if y'all talk about me behind my back, but don't let me know what it is.
Okay, are you trying to derail my story?
No, please go.
Okay, so you recently discovered that maybe there was a breathing technique, or maybe it was exercise-induced cold weather asthma.
Yes.
You used to get exercise-induced asthma, but that was like when we lived in hot, sweaty cities.
I think I still have that.
And so...
Cold or hot.
So you tried a couple different things, and you would come back like, oh, it didn't work. And so this was a day that it was like...
Because you had mentioned... Bahamas.
You mentioned... You mentioned that you think it's the cold weather.
Yes.
But this was during the cold snap. And I dare not complain about the temperature we were, considering some of our listeners and the temperatures they get. But it was in the teens.
Yeah.
When you were going to start out.
Yeah.
Teens
Fahrenheit. For our Europeans who have a more logical system of weights and measures, that's sub-zero for you.
Okay, yeah. So, again, derailing.
Sorry. Just adding a little context.
So, this was also, listeners, whiny, previous days' conversations. So, I took that into consideration with your ailment and the weather, and I knew you were going to go and do your weights. That's in my resource room at the church where I work, and I knew you would have to get back somehow, but I offered to give you a ride one way.
Right.
So to me, it doesn't seem absurd or like I can't help myself. Isn't that what you just said? I can't help myself? So I'm trying to help you have a better start to your exercise, and then, just thought, well, it's nasty and cold. Also, we got ice and snow. So, but then the way you made me feel like such an idiot for asking. Fuck it, I'm never going to ask you again. You could go out there in a blizzard and run for all I care. I mean, I know there are people that do it and they survive, so good luck to you.
Well, that took a turn I wasn't expecting.
What? Well, you were like, this is ridiculous. I need to do this.
Listen, what I think is that you are just a better person than me, and I know our listeners will agree with me.
Not anymore.
No, you are. You were worried about the cold. You were worried about the breathing problems I've been having. I mean, it turns out most people consider breathing to be pretty important. And so when your partner's having breathing problems, I can see where that would be concerning. But I have to tell you, if you got all dressed, ready to go out to exercise in the cold weather, it would not dawn on me for a millisecond to offer you a ride. I would never do that. And I'd like to think that's because I'm excited and proud of you because you're going to go challenge yourself and face the elements. But really, it's because I'm just not that nice of a person. And so that's what I know. I'm just curious. So you were offering to be helpful, but also what do you think of me when I go out to run in teens or single digits or whatever else with my exercise-induced asthma and my weak-ass knees?
And your really, really old running shoes that have like zero tread, basically.
Don't forget the holes on the side because of my clown-like wide feet. Also, they're purple because I coach soccer at a school that's purple, and so at one point they were part of a fit, but now I just like if I'm wearing like an orange T-shirt and then I've got my purple shoes, I just do look like a clown.
Yeah, well.
All right, great.
All right. Did you want me to answer that question?
Yes.
What do I think about that?
Yeah.
Well, I didn't mind. I think it's great that you're going to try to exercise and that you're challenging yourself and you're doing all those things. It looks like I was just
fishing for a compliment.
Yeah, true.
All right, just going to leave it there?
Yeah, okay. You were fishing for a compliment.
And talking over you for the 10th time, so you're done.
Okay, now it's the Matt Show.
All right, I know a question that we could ask Laura. It can be about communication and talking over your partner. Listener, it's almost time for our quarterly Ask Laura episode of the Untoxicated podcast. What do you want to ask Laura? I know Sheri's got a long list. Laura Hammock is a licensed clinical social worker.
Is it abuse if you keep duct tape on your partner's mouth 23 of the 24 hours a day?
What is the limit on mouth duct tape before the authorities need to be called? Laura Hammock is a licensed clinical social worker and mental health therapist. And if she hears this promo, this will probably be the last time she's on with us. So go ahead and send your email now. She works with adults, both individuals and couples, working through the impacts of anxiety, depression, ADHD, addiction, obsessive compulsive disorder, bipolar disorder, trauma, and relationship issues, at least 6 of which I have demonstrated in the first 10 minutes of this episode. What questions do you want to ask a therapist? Listen, here's the angle we're coming from. Maybe you don't have a therapist right now and you've got a burning question. No problem. Email me the question. We'll ask a real therapist. You know, you don't get to count this as therapy. Don't pretend I'm telling you can count it as therapy. But hey, you'll get to hear an opinion of somebody.
Expert opinion.
Yeah, expert opinion. Or maybe you already have a therapist, but you're like, I don't know. I don't know about this therapist. Maybe I should shop around. You don't have to shop around. We'll ask Laura the question. You can get a second opinion right there for free, which is my favorite price. So, to ask Laura a question, please send your questions via email to matt@soberandunashamed.com with Ask Laura in the subject line. That's matt@soberandunashamed.com. Ask Laura. Sheri, besides interacting with me, which can be quite a challenge, and I acknowledge that, you have, in addition to that,
I think the whole audience can acknowledge that too.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're kind of a lot. That's something I've heard.
It's something that your daughter said to you once.
Yes.
And more people have jumped on that bandwagon. But yes.
But in spite of that, or in addition to that, you have bitten off a little bit more than you can chew. You have said to me that you feel like you're overloaded. Do you want to explain to our listeners, just, you don't have to give the nitty gritty, but kind of like what segments of your life are loading you up right now?
Well, I signed up to be a major part of a fundraiser
Okay.
for our youngest son, the only one that's still in high school.
Okay.
His high school band. I really appreciate the band program. We have been supported, or he has been supported by the music teacher, the band teacher there. And I just really wanted to be a part of the fundraising event that's coming up. Last year it was in May, and I only participated a little because way back in the, we had put our house on the market. So I knew that we were doing that this spring. So I knew I couldn't really involve myself in the fundraiser. So I signed up for a pretty large role in the fundraising.
Like a leadership committee
leadership role because I thought we'd be out of the house, moved, whatever, different situations. So that is very time consuming. And by the way, if you ever use Sign Up Genius and you're creating one and you have many, many slots to fill and the people that created Sign Up Genius, tell them they fucking suck. It is the worst. It is the worst. So me not being tech savvy, that's also been a level of frustration. So not just, I love the logistics of things, but not the technical side. So I've got two pieces of it, right? So the fun side and then the tech side, which is really wearing me down. Also, we have we have an event coming up for our marriage evolution group, a retreat. So that's been a little time consuming. And then we're putting our house back on the market. And I know that you and I view things a little bit differently about how we should approach putting our house back on the market and the level of cleanliness it should be and tidiness, considering we've taken a little hiatus and it's gotten a little messy.
Well, if only we could just burn it down and collect the insurance money like in the old days.
Like in the good old days.
Then the cleanliness would be just fine the way it is.
Yeah.
With all this going on, did you take any time off work, or do you have your all of your job stuff?
Yeah, I've got basically like 4 shifts at a preschool and my church work, and it's time for me to start planning VBS because if you have young kids, you know that end of January is when you have to have your whole summer planned,
especially for dual working families.
Or if you just want, or if you want your kids to have like 1 or 2 camps, you've got to be on it. So I am now getting pushed to having my vacation Bible school, at least organized enough to have a date and have a theme and have so yeah, I just feel like
and you didn't include on your list catering to my every want and need, which is it's a full-time job in and of itself. Even when you're just swatting them away, it's still a full-time job. So dueling instincts you're dealing with. You've got some family-oriented stuff in there. Mm-hmm. So you want to help your family. And you also, want to get your own regular old shit done.
Yeah. Like sweeping the kitchen floor or keeping up laundry.
Yeah.
Like the things and cooking, because I enjoy it, but it does take some time. If you cook every night, you also got to go to the store. And then you got to do the cooking. So
self-care and nurturing both need attention, and there's just not enough hours in the day. As one of our board members for our board of directors for the nonprofit and good friend of mine likes to say, still in search of that 48-hour day. So lots going on for you. So what's new about all of this is that you told me how you felt. I recently needed to confront a coworker and another soccer coach, and I wanted to run some things by you. And you took the time to say, listen, I'm not going to deal with this right now because I've got these other things I have to deal with. And if you want my advice, if you want a sounding board, you're going to have to come back later. And that's not like you. You have typically been, when a family member, myself included, needs you for something like that. I'm not saying, like, if my need was I need you to drive, to Greeley and buy a side of beef for me and bring, I don't know, that's a dumb. If I need you to go do something that was going to take a long time, then you've always had good boundaries around that. But it's like the quick hitters. They're like, I really need to run this by you. I need 5 minutes. And when I say I need 5 minutes, that's a minimum of 20 minutes. I need 5 minutes to run this by you, 20 minutes. That's the kind of thing that you have in all of our almost 30 years of marriage been like, all right, I hear you. I want to help you. But you said, no, I can't do that right now. I got to do this thing I'm working on. I'll let you know. Let's schedule it. Let's talk later.
Yeah.
So despite my initial like little bit of frustration, getting my feelings bent up from being rejected, I was actually in the moment, even though I was a little butthurt. I was
Jaw dropped to the floor.
My chin hurt from my jaw hitting the floor so hard. I was still very proud of you.
Thank you.
Did that feel different?
It felt different in a way that I realized that I am not, I knew that I was feeling overloaded. And I had felt that way for a couple weeks. And I was having a lot of those feelings. I also realized the older I get, I really need to like focus and pay attention on the task at hand. And this was something that truly needed my attention. And I had other things. Also, this was not the first time that we had a conversation about this particular situation.
Yeah.
This was you just wanting to run Plan B 32 past me or something. I mean,
Yeah.
So I was like, geez, I just feel like, and I feel like in the past I would have dropped that because I would have felt like I need to be there to support him so he can be there to support me. And but then I also would have been frustrated because then I would have been distracted in my flow of productivity. And I knew that you weren't going to see this person for a few days.
Yeah.
And in it, I mean, hell, I don't even know. Maybe what you wanted to talk to me then, and then we ended up talking about an hour later, was completely different because you had changed your mind. So
I've never done that in my life.
Okay. So I just felt like, because I'm working outside of the house a lot more and I have these other things, doesn't mean that my stuff is worth less than your stuff. And I've always kind of prioritized your stuff and your work. And I kind of have always felt myself as more the homemaker, even though I worked at our bakery 2 days a week, full time, or I would work like like a shift or two there when the kids were little. I always felt like I just left always to need to cater to you because you were the working person, the full-time working person. And then I'm like, you know what? Like, I'm out of the house and I'm still doing a bunch of stuff. And it's not that I'm yelling at you like, you need to get doing the laundry, you need to get doing this because you were home working from home. But I just felt like
do the laundry. I don't think I'm welcome to do the laundry.
You had your chance in Chicago and you can do your own.
Just don't touch your clothes.
Just don't do anything.
Okay.
Yeah. We had a situation that led to a lot of ruined clothes when you worked from home and lived in Chicago.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I just felt like, you know what? This needs my attention right now and I need to focus because this was a commitment I made also a long time ago. This was a new event for you, kind of new event.
Okay, that's great. So this is all stuff that you've communicated and you've thought through in a situation with emotional safety in our relationship, something that we've worked very hard on over the last few years. So let me pose this question to you. So when we tell the partners of alcoholics or the partners of emotional abusers, when we tell them to prioritize yourself, go to that alcoholic or that emotional abuser and tell them, no, I can't deal with your shit right now. I'm working on me. I got my thing. I got to prioritize my needs. What do you think that's like when the person on the receiving end of that communication is as stable as I used to be back when I was drinking and yelling and being a...
So how do I think they're going to receive the addict is going to receive the information?
Well, yes, but also I want to know, put yourself back in the perspective of the partner you're my wife and you've read this book and this book said you need to prioritize yourself and put yourself first and put your own needs first and you need to communicate that to your partner. What are you thinking?
Well, I would be pretty worried and pretty scared. Also, I would be comparing it to, I would be worried that you would say things like, well, you take care of the kids before you take care of yourself. Why can't you take care of me or listen to me and be there for me ahead of yourself the way you do for the kids. Mm-hmm. So that would be one argument that I would be worried about. Also, just the emotional immaturity and backlash.
I want to dig deeper in that. I don't think that there's any point in my addiction, active, or early sobriety where I would have said, you need to take care of me the way you take care of the kids, because that would have felt like weak sauce to me. But you need to listen to me because I got something I got to run by you. Mm-hmm. And so just having the kind of giving the impression that my shit's a little more important than your shit. So you need to drop everything and listen to me. Yeah, I could see myself doing that.
For sure, because you did it. You did it many, many years. I mean, you didn't come right out and say, my stuff is more important. I mean, during arguments, you would say, I work a lot more than you do. And you would never factor in the work that I did at home, like when you were mad or frustrated with me. So, there was that... there was always that undercurrent of Matt's stuff is more important because it came out in different ways that you verbalized it or expressed it or shown it to me or demonstrated to me. So that would be a worry that, who am I? And also another worry for me would be like, who am I to like let my partner down by not being there?
That nurturing instinct. Yeah. Even for your partner. Mm-hmm. Maybe nurturing is the wrong word for your partner, but caretaking or, I don't know, just being a good human, really. Yeah. Being there.
Well, just being in partnership and relationship with someone. But when you are, when you have those emotionally unstable interactions, you also get worried about the backlash. Like, how is this going to play out later on? Yeah. I mean, even if they're not drinking and they're in early sobriety or they, and they're working on themselves, but they have not quite made it over like any sort of real tangible hump, or they're not doing anything and they're dry drunk. All of these can come out in an argument later on and used against you. And
so maybe you are in a place where you do prioritize your own stuff and you do recognize that you deserve to be prioritized and that your priorities do matter and that the things that you've committed to should take precedence. So you've got all of that from a like logical standpoint, but sometimes I imagine you would think, but it's just going to be easier to drop everything and listen to this blowhard talk, because if I say, no, I can't do that right now, then I'm going to have to hear the whining.
Yeah. I mean, well, anybody who has kids knows it's easier to just clean up the room for them than to actually teach them how to clean up the room. Right. So that's exactly how I would view those kind of conversations with you. Like, it's easier just to give in and... Hey, sorry. You can say bless you. That's all right.
Oh, was that a sneeze? Yeah. It's hard to tell. Sheri's she's got a cold. She's got the kind of cold that would have me out for the count, but she's continuing to get all her stuff done and just plow ahead, including talking to me on the podcast. So,
but I think that the execution of those sort of skills takes a long time, and it takes a lot of practice to prioritize yourself. Because it is easier just to say, sure, I'll give this person 20 minutes.
Yeah. Okay, so then given that, how massive was the detachment at the end of my drinking? So you have had enough of me, basically, but in order to detach and let me do my thing and you stay out of my business and you stop dropping everything to help me and you stop buying me alcohol or mixers and you just kind of stay out of that and emotionally detached from me, was there any part of you for whom you were ignoring instinctual drive to help me? Or had that all been burned up by the...
That all had gone by the wayside a long time ago, and it just took me a while to actually start to demonstrate it and act on it. I mean, like, the level of, like, he's home when I would hear you come in the driveway had, like, carried in my heart for so long before I actually started to kind of act out on that. And I know that we often say that you can't detach until you're ready. Right. And you can't read it and learn it in a book. But had I had read that maybe a year or two before and I understood the concept, maybe I could have started implementing some of the techniques. And maybe it wouldn't have worked because it wouldn't have been as obvious. Or maybe it would have worked because then it could have like sobered you up a year earlier, or could have, helped me work on my self-care and prioritization of myself kind of muscle and practice that a little earlier. But I did that just out of pure, like, I can't stand that he's here half the time. I don't care what he has to say. And yeah, it was for the kids, but it was also for my sanity, because I couldn't let you get under my skin, because then my reactions and my behaviors in the house, like, trickle down to the kids. They could feel that energy. So I just kind of felt like it was kind of sad. I was like way, way, way too much done.
Yeah. And
I know you say I was like 1 foot out the door. I don't know if financially or logically at that moment I could have been out the door like that, but certainly emotionally.
It definitely felt like you were.
I definitely was emotionally.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I just think this is so interesting because, especially for someone like me who doesn't have your nurturing instinct, for me to tell someone who's the partner of an alcoholic, this is what detachment is. Let's explain it to you. That it's an emotional technique. You're going to stop involving yourself in their business. You're going to stop dropping everything to be of service. You're going to stop expecting to get your needs met in your emotional needs met in conjunction with this person. For me, that would be a much easier switch to flip manually. You know what I mean? Like, that would be much easier for me to learn about this, get some facts. Okay, this is effective in, I don't know, roughly half of the cases. Okay, this is a strategy I can employ. I think for people with a stronger nurturing instinct like yourself, you have to actually get to the point where that instinct is burned up before you can implement this. Or you're going to do it. You're going to say, okay, I'm not going to engage. I'm not going to count beers. I'm not going to ask them how their day was. I'm not going to, when they sigh and they look all sad, I'm not going to ask them why. Because if I do, I'm just going to get balled all up in their alcoholic drama. So I'm not going to do that. But there's that part of you that's like, no, that's what I'm born to do, is to help people. And I'm married to this person. So they're on the short list of people I want to help. Mm-hmm. Does that make sense?
It does make sense, but I think that if I had been aware of what I was really experiencing and, over a long time, then I could have really maybe understood a little bit about the detachment process. And again, it probably wouldn't have been as strong and obvious as it was by the time it happened with us, but maybe it would have started the process a little earlier, and I would have been more inclined to practice some of those boundaries and some of that detachment pieces and that muscle, which maybe could have helped me and in the earlier parts of your sobriety, because once we started getting in a healthier spot and I knew that your sobriety was long-term, and we were talking, I still feel like I, even up until recently, had a hard time not putting your needs of a conversation or run something by you kind of thing first. I mean, I know that it sounds silly to say that I just did this the first time. There are other times that I have, said, can we do this a little bit later or whatever, because we are respectful of each other's time. But I think this was the first time I said, like, then after I told you, like, what's going on, like, I can't do this right now, we scheduled it later, and then I kind of said, hey, I really have a lot going on right now, and this and this is really occupying a lot of my time and my mind space. That, I think, was what was a little bit different.
Yeah.
It wasn't because I didn't acknowledge it or ever know about it, it's just the sharing, because I never wanted to burden you.
Well, I think it's helpful. It's helpful for me to hear. Trust me, there are many times when I've come to you and I needed something small, and I've seen what's stacked up in front of you, and I'm like, I cannot believe she is dropping what she's doing to help me right now. I would never do that for her. And that's where, when I say pretty frequently that you're a better person than me, that's where a lot of those feelings come from. But I would prefer to have you be, healthier and more self-committed the way you're moving, that direction you're moving. I think that's great, even if it puts me out a little bit, because I think there's benefits to having you in as good a spot as you can possibly be. Mm-hmm. And that applies not only in our relationship, it applies not only on the home front, but it also applies at work. And so after we tell our listeners about our sponsors, we're going to come back and we're going to talk about how this idea of dueling instincts and dealing with your own self-priorities and compare and contrasting and prioritizing as that relates to the needs that you feel to nurture the people around you. We're going to talk about how that applies places besides the family. But first, we need you to know that we are sponsored by SoberLink. SoberLink is the premier remote alcohol monitoring system, combining cutting-edge technology with compassionate design to support accountability in recovery and family law. It's the top-of-the-line handheld breathalyzer. Today we are talking about instincts, how there are gender differences, and how we can see the same situation and have dramatically different perspectives. For example, I can feel comfortable with my plan for sobriety, but from your perspective, there can be something missing, leaving you without the peace of mind, assurance, or enough evidence of success. Both of us have perspectives that are valid, but if your perspective is ignored, trust rebuilding is impossible. And that's where SoberLink comes in. SoberLink is not just a handheld breathalyzer you can buy at the drugstore or on the internet, a cheapie that breaks or gives unreliable results. SoberLink's best-in-class service and product combination includes built-in facial recognition and tamper detection, expert in-house support, emailed daily, weekly, or monthly reporting that's court admissible in all 50 states and Canada, unlimited testing days, and scheduled testing to build accountability and trust. SoberLink is the right tool for bringing trust back into a relationship wrecked by alcoholism.
So let me tell you what SoberLink is to me. It's a sign that you're serious this time, that you hear me when I tell you I can't trust you, that you're willing to put your ego aside for a second and do something for me, for our family. SoberLink is an indication that you love me more, that you love the kids more, than you are selfish about doing it your way.
Right now, SoberLink is offering Intoxicated Podcast listeners a free offer ID valid for a $100 enrollment bonus. Go to soberlink.com/untoxicated.
Claim your offer ID for a $100 enrollment bonus. There is no commitment required. Your offer ID while this promotion lasts. And you can use your $100 enrollment bonus when you're ready to place your order. To claim your offer ID, you will only be asked to provide your name and email address. No personal details, no commitment, and no credit card number. To claim your offer ID for your $100 enrollment bonus, please go to soberlink.com/untoxicated.
The Untoxicated Podcast is part of a 501c3 nonprofit research organization.
We learn from you, our listeners, and we share with you what we learn. It's a growth and discovery-oriented symbiotic relationship, a partnership, and there's nothing more important to our understanding about the impact of addiction. You can tell my cold medicine
is cold in your eyes.
Yeah, my cold medicine started to kick in. Impact of addiction and emotional abuse. That hearing from you about your instincts.
Right now, we're trying to learn more about your experience with emotional safety and the opposite of emotional safety, emotional abuse. What role do your instincts play in navigating that? Whether you're wondering if you've experienced emotional abuse in your relationship, or you're wondering if your behavior could be considered emotionally abusive, we have a confidential, easy-to-take survey ready to help you better understand. Our survey will only take a minute or two to complete, and as I said, we will hold your response in strict confidentiality.
Go to untoxicatedsurvey.org to take the survey. As a thank you for participating in our research, we will share helpful resources, including a free ebook, and we will respond directly to you to share our feedback on your experiences.
And if our connection and communication leads you to deciding to join one of our programs, right now, for a limited time, we are offering a free trial month.
So free resources including a free ebook, free feedback from us, and a free month of participation. Listen to your instincts and take our survey.
Please go to untoxicatedsurvey.org. All right, Sheri, we're going to talk about work now. I remember in the not too distant past, maybe a little more than a year ago.
Yeah, it's been long.
A couple of years, maybe?
Yeah, I know the story you're going to tell.
Well, why don't you tell it?
Well, I mean, you can go ahead. We converse about what we're going to talk here about. So.
Well, and
but
I
it's
have
been a
no
while.
sense of time. We've proven that over and over.
And it's been a while. Yeah.
Do you remember last week when I tried to eat fried chicken that was made in a crock pot that I thought was a chicken fryer?
Yeah, wasn't last week.
Yeah, it feels like it was. So a teacher asked you to cover for them and you told them no, even though you technically had the calendar availability, but that doesn't mean you weren't going to fill that time with your own personal priorities. Right. So rather than bend over backwards and inconvenience yourself, you said no. Yeah. And it was kind of a big thing to say.
Yeah,
no.
That was a big thing. Like, she was very sweet and lovely coworker, and she really tried hard. And part of it was not as a punishment, but I just felt like I was always covering her. And I know that's the role I had as a substitute. But I also, this was 2 years ago. So we still had kids at home. There was still like new things going, things that, that I needed to prioritize. I don't even know if our 19-year-old was really driving by then. So,
well, one of the reasons
I felt like we had like 2 kids at home still that still needed a lot of attention. And I also needed to get my personal stuff done. I remember she wanted, I sound like you with my schedule, but she wanted me to cover a day that I normally like grocery shopped and food prepped. And I was like, that's going to ruin my whole week.
Sure. Because that's work.
Yeah.
That's not work. It's just different work.
It's just different work. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I remember saying no. And I even said to her, I said, no, I can't, because it's really going to mess up my day. And I really don't want to be resentful about saying yes to you.
I love that part. That's the best part of the story.
Yeah. Because I knew I would be resentful about it.
You communicated that.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I think she really appreciated it. And I see her out and about in social and school events all the time. And even at work, there was never any, never any bad blood between us because I was honest.
What part of your ability to say that, to tell her to her face, I don't want to resent you, so I'm going to say no. What part of that comes from all the work that you've done internally on yourself within our family system to stand up for yourself and prioritize yourself and not just, just drop everything to be at my whim and the whims of the other parts of the family? Were you transferring something you had learned in your family to apply to the work situation?
No.
Or
actually,
was it just... No.
Jesus. I was wondering when you were going to be done.
This has got to be so hard for you.
It is painful. Actually,
Do you remember the question at this point?
I'm going to try. It was easier to do this to a coworker.
Okay.
Because there was less personal connection.
Okay.
And I was a sub, So that was my job, to substitute when I could. But it was easier because there wasn't that like personal relationship and interpersonal relationship like within the family structure. Within the family structure, my role is the mother and a wife and then Sheri. So it was easier to do it in a work situation, in a work environment, than it is to then say no to the people within my inner circle, my inner sanctum, the people that are my closest family that I'm supposed to take care of and be responsible for and be in partnership with and close personal relationship with. So it was much easier to say it to them. What kind of work had I been doing on that? I think just because, with all the work of recovery and being in the, I know that we run the Echoes of Recovery group and the other 2 groups, but we learned so much.
Yeah, for sure.
So feeling like I was getting empowerment and reminders from our group that we, the people in the group that talk about it daily, that kind of helped remember to prioritize myself, and that maybe I have the actual time available with nothing, a work that could maybe be put off. But then I was like, no, but if I put that off, that's going to throw my whole week off.
Yeah. I mean, I think
and,
most...
Oh, and I was just going to say.
Yeah.
And it was the part of the work of the resentments. Like our resentment processing and being true to myself. Like, I know that I'm going to be resentful about working for you.
Yeah.
And knowing and understanding what a resentment was and how I have many, many years said yes to things that I was resentful for. And it was off of the heels, too, of, like, reading a book through my, from the church side of work. We would often read a book to discuss, and this happened to be one. I was kind of stuck with me, like the 4 tendencies, and I'm an obliger. And then oftentimes I say yes, 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 because I want to please everybody. I know you call it people pleaser, but it's not so much people pleasing. It also includes like just taking over and doing things that you feel are not going to be done right. Mm-hmm. That's another trait of it. And it's not a control freak thing. It's just making sure that nobody gets in trouble if they haven't done it right. You're sneaking behind the scenes. Mm-hmm. So that sort of obliger type of personality will often result in a rebellion of some sort and a blow up because you just take on too much and you don't know how to process it and you don't understand that you're building resentment. So I had been working on that too.
What I think is remarkable is that you actually used those words when you communicated that I don't want to resent you. I think learning to say no and prioritize your own needs. And I do want to just really emphasize, I hate it when, there's the kind of work that's synchronous, right? It's on a schedule. And then, like, for instance, working in a classroom at a preschool with students who come in at 9 and leave at 2 or whatever the timing is. That's synchronous
Glad
work.
You paid attention
but
to
that
my
doesn't mean,
work hours.
That doesn't mean that... Am I off?
You're off, but anyhow, go ahead.
But that doesn't mean that the work that you're going to fill a day with, just because it could be done at 9 o'clock at night, but who the hell wants to do your work at 9 o'clock at night?
Yeah.
Just because it's asynchronous work that can be scheduled anytime doesn't mean you have to sacrifice yourself and put your own needs on the back burner to meet someone else's needs.
Yeah.
And so I think that just getting that straight in your head is a huge component, because I think a lot of people, particularly nurturers, are guilty of, this thing that I need to get done and it's going to take me 4 hours, I can just do that after the kids go to bed.
But then you're up late and you're grumpy, or
That's
maybe,
right.
And my point explained to her was like, but if I push my grocery store and food prep off into the evening, then that means my dinner system is messed up, that maybe whatever sporting event that our kids were in or after school activities were in, then that, that's going to be maneuvered around a little bit. I'm not going to be able to enjoy dinner time with them. Our kids typically always play a sport each season. So I'm sure 1 or 2 of them had something going on that they needed to get picked up from, or we needed to go watch.
And consider this. If you moved everything to the evening and messed up your whole schedule the way you described, I mean, I wasn't really listening, but it sounded important, then what would the real impact of that is when I'm laying in bed scrolling Instagram and I find a cat video I want to show you because you like cat videos and you're not laying there next to me, like, what am I going to do with that cat video? I mean, let's think about how much that's going to inconvenience me to have to get out of bed and come find you in the kitchen to show you the cat video.
Oh, because at that time you hadn't learned to, like, send them to me?
Yeah.
Or as you called it, save it?
No bueno. That's all I know. I mean, it's the stuff about you sounded important too.
Yeah, or you were laying, or I had to be so worried about your lack of sex as I was in the kitchen slaving away and you were laying in bed needing sex.
Well, and I don't want you to sit there and worry about my sex drive not being met. I mean, I feel bad for you, and I know that it's the top of your list. And when you self-prioritize, God, that's got to be hard for you. I can only imagine. But yeah, the asynchronous, synchronous thing, but using the word, I don't want to resent you. Sheri, the degree to which that's next level, I think you should take a lot of credit for that and be really proud of yourself, because not only are you saying no, but you're actually honestly explaining why. Because you know what most people would do? Oh, I can't because I got this thing. I got this doctor's appointment. I got this thing.
Yeah, lie or make a terrible excuse.
I don't want to hate you. I appreciate our friendship.
You know, I probably should start remembering the story a little bit more as I...
Because you've backslid a little?
A little bit, yeah.
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 Well, you look like a total badass. I mean, a total badass when you tell somebody, I'm not going to do that for you because I don't want to resent you. Like, that is, to me, that's like John Wayne cool. That's like an old Western.
I mean, I am honest about my feelings, but I also, like, with work situations, but I still, like, have taken on some stuff. All but the band fundraising. I'm not going to, like, be sad about that.
Yeah. Well, all I know is you don't have that 5 minutes, here 20 minutes, to just drop everything and listen to my problems anymore. And
yeah,
doesn't seem right. Okay, so I have taken this story and I have applied it to the 15 years that we ran the bakery. And we had mostly young 20-somethings working for us. Mm-hmm. Some of them were great and some of them were, just despicably bad employees. So we had kind of a balance there, which I think will surprise nobody who listens to this podcast. But I think now about some of the very, very best we have. I think a lot about an employee that you and I just both love and cherish, and we're still in contact with her, and she's just so good. But there were so many times when somebody else would just shit the bed work-wise, and we would call her and say, hey, can you cover? Can you help out? Can you do this extra? We need you to come in early. We need you to stay late. We're going to run shorthanded, but we know you're awesome. And I was always so proud of myself because I was so complimentary. I never forgot to thank her and tell her how awesome she was and make sure she felt appreciated. I mean, we didn't have any money to give her extra. But I always...
Except for the extra hours that she worked. She did get paid for those, folks. We were not...
Well, she did get paid for her. Yeah.
But no extra bonus. We weren't give her a gift card, take her out to dinner or anything kind of people.
No, I mean, we let her babysit our kids sometimes.
And paid her.
Yeah.
But then she always, made us dinner or made the kids dinner or made us chili, if we went away for a weekend.
She was amazing.
Of her own money.
But I always thought that was enough, that I was bending over backwards to compliment her and appreciate her. And I did appreciate her, and I know she felt appreciated. But you know what else she felt? I think when I hear your story?
Taken advantage of.
She felt run over. Yeah. She always said yes because you said you don't like the term people pleaser. You prefer obliger.
Yeah.
Either way, she didn't. There was definitely a power dynamic. We are 20 years older than her? Something like that?
Something, I don't know.
I was her boss and she worked for me. I don't know where she is patriarchy-wise, male, female. I don't know if there was some power dynamic there. Probably, right? I don't know. Whatever. Yeah. I never asked her.
But, I mean, this is where I would say that the obliger, besides people pleaser, kicks in. Because it was her place of employment as well. And she knew that if things were crappy the day that she was off, and she said, no, I'm not coming into work, the next day was going to be hard for her. Because we were going to be in it.
Messes to clean up.
We're going to be behind.
Yeah.
We've left shit. So that's where that obliger sort of personality kicks in. Because I would have said yes to come in and work because I didn't want my next day in there to just be awful.
Okay, so there's a bit of it that's self-serving, but you do acknowledge that she was being taken advantage of.
But yes.
Inadvertently taken advantage of.
Because she was so reliable.
Yeah. So when you said to a coworker, no, I'm not going to do this for you because I don't want to resent you, my guess is that even though this particular employee, without question, loved us and cared for us and cared for our kids and appreciated us, and there's, lots of positive things I could put around there, she's probably still carrying resentment for a few 4 a.m. phone calls when we were in a pickle and we got her out of bed on her day off and she canceled her plans and came in.
Mm-hmm.
How do you not resent that? I know we never talked about it.
Yeah.
Other than, oh, thank you. You're the best. I love you so much. Oh, you're welcome. That was it. That's not a resentment processed. So I know there's resentment there.
Yeah.
That's really, I think that's been a real epiphany for me from the work that you've done to move yourself out of obliger mode. Pretty interesting. If I have something that I need to be done, if we're looking at my priority list, right? Mm-hmm. I have a really well-tuned and honed-in ability to ignore all other things and focus on that. So I don't care who comes to me and asks for 5 minutes. I don't care what thing is on fire that's on somebody else's plate. I can lock in and do my stuff. You, Sheri, you always hear the needs of others, our family, people you care about, like the household needs. Like you can just, it's almost like it vibrates for you. Like you can sense the things that need to get done.
Pay attention. I mean, that's really all it is. I remember when the kids were little, they could be running around, screaming, beating each other up, whatever it is, and you could just be, you weren't even like, your homework office was in the middle of was off to the side of the family room in which maybe the argument and fight was happening. And you could just be there typing away on the computer or, as the kids like to say, doing the taxes, because that's what they thought you were doing.
Every time the computer was open, they thought it was doing taxes.
Anytime Dad was doing something, pen, paper, computer, it was doing taxes. But, it could be happening on the other side of the room. And I would have to come down, like, with chicken juice hands because I was prepping. I'm like, what is going on? And you were just oblivious to it.
Yeah. Now, the time you're talking about there, that's active addiction, right?
Yeah, but I kind of think
not that I was drinking necessarily.
You weren't working. Yeah, you were working. You weren't drinking. There were lots of times where that was going on and you were just drinking a beer and watching whatever was your sports that was on TV or whatever. But, it was like, it'd be during the daytime and you weren't drinking and it could just be going on right next to you. But you were like, I've got to plunk away and get this done and I'm not even going to, stop because I know Sheri's, in charge because, she's just here in the house doing the mom thing and I'm working. Yeah. So you prioritize that.
Yeah.
There have been times that I have come and gone and come back and you didn't even know I left, even though I'd said something.
Is there any part of you when I'm locked in on something, and let's say it's something that really does need to get done?
Yeah, a lot of your stuff really needs to get done.
But is there any part of you that's jealous of that ability to lock in, or is it all just disgust for me because I can do that?
Most of the time, it is, I don't know if jealous or envious is kind of the right word. I wish I had that amount of self-serving focus.
Self-serving focus. That is such a complimentary insult. That is really good.
Backhanded compliment.
Oh, but because I love it.
Because maybe it's not it's not a thing that is just selfish, but it's like, I have to get this done and I'm going to do it and I have to be focused and I'm not going to get derailed. Mm-hmm. They're not going to kill each other. The kids aren't going to kill each other out there. Sheri's got it and I don't have to be involved. So.
Or Sheri's not home and I still don't think they're going to kill each other.
And you're just going to yell from the room, hey, stop it. But, and you could let it play out. And if it got too bad, maybe. Okay. But.
So you said no jealousy or envy. You said self-serving focus. You didn't tell me how you feel about it.
Well, I wish that I had that.
Okay.
I wish I had that a little bit more, especially as the kids are getting older, or I notice only one or two of them were home, or maybe one of them was home. Even then I'd be worried that they weren't being entertained or attended to in some regard. So having that kind of focus is very admirable in a lot of ways. But also I see the downside to it is that then maybe I missed out on a lot of, I would have missed out on some things. maybe it wouldn't be them arguing and screaming because they were upset with one another. Maybe it was them developing a really funny game, and I wouldn't have known the difference had I not gone in and looked at it, and then I would have missed part of that.
I'm going to say something here that'll surprise no one. I am not jealous at all, or envious, or wish I had a little bit of what you've got. That sense of all the things going on, and that feelings of the vibrations of the house and the things that need to be done. That sounds awful to me. It sounds exhausting. It sounds hard. I can't multitask at all. That sounds like I would be being pulled in so many directions that it would create an anxiety in me that would be hard to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
So while I appreciate you, I don't want to be you.
Okay.
That sounds really hard.
Yeah. You probably, when you're working and we've got older teens in the house, you're probably not at all thinking about, I wonder if they're having breakfast, or I wonder if they're having lunch, like on their days off. Right? No.
When I get up to go to the bathroom, I'm like, who's here in this house with me? Is anyone? I look out to see.
Who am I blocking from the bathroom?
Look out to see if the kit car is on the street. I don't. Yeah. It sounds really hard, and I want to acknowledge that. Now, this discussion though would not be complete without talking about. I think this part's really important. There needs to be a balance, because there is stuff in the house when we talk about the house vibrating and you being aware of all the needs. There is stuff that needs to be done, and thank God you're here to either do it or assign it to somebody, to just notice it. My God, that's great. But there's also stuff that doesn't need to be done. Need is too strong a word. That you would prefer be done. Mm-hmm. That is important to you. Even it can be your top priority even. But that doesn't mean that it needs to be done. And there's sometimes where my perspective and your perspective are different, and that's okay. And I think that's what gets lost. I think sometimes somebody in your shoes, the partner, you are so frustrated, rightly so, by the lack of kind of attempts or willingness by the me in this scenario, that it's hard for you to parse out what things actually need to get done and which ones don't. Let me give an example to help. House decorations. You turn this house several times during the course of the year. I've thought about this. If I were in charge of decorating the house, we would have maybe we would have winter and summer, and that would be it. There wouldn't be a Santa Claus anywhere. There would be pine trees, maybe with snow on them. And
or Santas would be up until it's time for summer.
There would be no Santas. I don't want to deal with the after Christmas Santa deal. I'm just telling you, I would have, and maybe I wouldn't even do this, but I think I probably would have here's bring out the tubs of winter shit, and we'd put them out, and we'd put them away in May, and bring out the tubs of summer shit, and we'd put those away in October, and that'd be it. Like plates, we have in our house, we have different plates. I don't understand that. I would have one plates. They'd be nice. If guests came over, they wouldn't be like, look at these terrible plates Matt's got. They'd be like, those are fine plates. They don't seem to have anything to do with the season we're in, but they're plates, and we can eat off them, and they look clean. How many sets of plates do you have? Like plates and dishes and stuff.
We have 4.
Okay.
Yeah.
For different seasons? Or just because you get bored?
Seasons.
They're seasonal.
Yeah.
Are you serious? We have 4?
Yeah.
I was thinking 2, and I can kind of think of 3.
So it kind of like 3.5, because we have a set of plates I got from my grandmother, and we kind of use those for Thanksgiving dinner. Well, I guess we have 5 because we have your mom's china, your mom and dad's china from their wedding.
We eat off paper plates because you don't want to deal with the dishes?
No, we have.
So we have 6.
We have your mom and dad's china, and then we have one set that's spring and summer, and then I have some seasonal little side dishes and side plates and bowls that come in to supplement with either spring or summer. little side dish plates with rabbits on them
Here's how I know.
for spring, and then they
Adorable.
get staged out
So
with
cute.
the fish for summer.
Really, all winter, I just can't wait for the rabbit plates to come out. I'm so, like right now, I'm like, oh my God, it's almost time. I can't wait. Okay. So, I know this is important to you because...
The kids notice. Because
great.
even our daughter said, I really don't mind that we don't have the fall plates out, but I really do like the fall glassware that we have because they're cute little woodland creatures.
She is the queen of nostalgia.
And Joey is kind of the same way.
Yeah. When we were going through all the stress and drama, frankly, of packing up and closing up the bakery, and she was bawling because it's the only job she'd ever known her parents to do, that just crushed me watching her be sad.
Yeah.
But yeah, she is the queen of nostalgia. I have no doubt. Like every time, since it's taken forever to sell the house, she lives in Minnesota, and every time she leaves our house, she says goodbye to the house, and there's a tearful moment, and I'm like, oh my God, let's sell this house so I never have to watch my daughter agonize through this again. This is so awful. I think the last time she left, she was like, I'm sure you'll still be here next time. And she just walked out. But okay, back to the point. So I know that the plates are important to you, and here's how I know. We have stuff packed away that wasn't going to be unpacked until we moved. And among those things were plates, I think Christmas plates, right? Winter plates?
Winter plates.
Okay.
They're snowmen.
And so because I could see the look on your face, and because you enunciated, you communicated well, I knew that was important to you, so we dug to the back of the storage and we found the plates and we got them out. And there's no complaining. I'm not complaining now. It's fine. All I'm saying is I can tell not only that you like having the rotation, but that it's important to you. What I'm asking you is, can you appreciate that there's stuff that isn't important to me and that that's okay?
I acknowledge that every day, Matt.
What does that mean?
I never see you walk past the cat litter box and go, oh my God, our poor cat. He didn't get his litter box cleaned today. I must clean it.
No. Okay.
You
So we have an agreement about the cat. We do divide the chores with the cat. What's my chore?
You get to feed and water him twice a day.
Get to. You said that like it's a privilege or something. Why do I feed the cat?
Because you don't want to be woken up in the middle of the night with a hungry cat.
So just to make sure that we stay on schedule.
Selfish.
Mr. Anal Retentive over here. You're right. You're right.
Selfish.
You're right. I feed the damn cat because I don't want to get woken up. Because once I wake up, I can't get back to sleep half the time.
So anyhow, and you stopped doing the litter box because when we owned the bakery, you said that you thought you were coughing a lot. Maybe that's why I'm coughing so much, is from cleaning the litter box, and that you thought it was the dust from the litter. But little did we know you were allergic to buckwheat, and that was a ground fine flour that was in the air. And that is don't question my memory.
There's HIPAA laws. I don't think you're allowed to tell everybody all of my medical issues.
Okay, well, I was going to say, don't question my memory. But I do acknowledge that there are things that you don't care about. And there are things that you do that I don't care about. I don't care that our street curb is swept, but you do.
I don't do that anymore. I used to, but
okay, well, you used to.
Yeah.
I didn't care when you used to. I don't care that you don't.
All I'm saying is...
And that's fine. That's fine, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I think it's great that you don't care what things I care about. I think that's great. I just get concerned because I think sometimes there's some gray area where there's stuff that really does need to be done. And the possibility of me ignoring that is really high. Mm-hmm. And I need to be called on that, for sure. But there's stuff that doesn't need to be done. And if I choose not to do it because that's on the list of things I don't think we should be doing, either of us, because I don't think it's important, I think that's okay too. Now, it's like a Venn diagram. There's a lot of like stuff in the middle. Like I'm sure you mentioned when we relist the house, these blinds will all get scrubbed. And
I'm not scrubbing them. I'm just
look fine.
You're at least gonna dust them.
Okay.
Yeah, I will dust them.
Yeah.
But
I think there needs to be some negotiation, some communication, and some respect for the fact that there are things that need to be done things that don't need to be done and some things that are a strong want, and that's fine. And that doesn't mean I never do the strong want. Like, I don't bitch and complain when we change out the decorations. I help to the degree that you let me. I know there's stuff you don't want me to do.
Right. I mean...
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to address the...
I've never...
What do they call it? The weaponized incompetence? Mm-hmm. Like, I don't walk around going, what do I do with it? Where do I put it? Like, I don't do that. But there are things that I look at you do and I go, oh, she thinks that needs to be done and I don't. And more power to you. Enjoy doing that. And sometimes there are things I do for you because I know it's important for you. I'm not trying to, like, take a bunch of credit here. This is spun way in the direction I did not intend.
Yes, I'm agreeing with you, so you don't have to sell me on this concept.
Shut up. God, I can dig a fucking hole and just dive in head first.
Because I understand that there are things that I desire for my visual appetite, perhaps, that you don't. Like, I like having, let's turn it over, you know? I mean, I'm with you about the Santas. I don't have a bunch of Santa Christmas decor, and I really liked the way I did our holiday decor because we were debating whether or not we were going to keep the house on the market during the Christmas holidays. So I did it minimal and simple and kind of thematic, so it fit with the color scheme. You know, used our stuff that we had. I didn't go buy anything new. So I thought it turned out great.
It was great.
But I didn't expect you to be a part of that.
Yeah.
You know, that was one of the things I remember asking the real estate agent when we were discussing whether or not we wanted to take it off the market for the holidays. Because I said, well, what about Christmas decorations? I mean, I don't want to live in a sad, non-festive house, but I don't want to, like, gum it up with, like, all of our stuff and make it too personalized, which... you know, it's supposed to be kind of simple. And, you know, so that was probably not even in your radar to ask, other than that you were maybe worried that I would want to put decorations out and our real estate agent would have said, no, don't put them out. It's a terrible idea. And I would have done it.
I was going to keep it festive. I was going to wear my Scrooge hat and walk around the house naked and say, bah humbug. And it was going to be great.
I think the trench coat and your Scrooge hat would be a better look than naked. But
I don't know. Naked under a trench coat, that gets you some bracelets behind your back.
Only if you go out in public.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
Or if your trench coat opens up in public, you probably could.
I couldn't imagine being in public naked under a trench coat. I would vomit from the fear and anxiety of that. Are you
kidding me? The buttons would just simultaneously
it would just evaporate. Like, it doesn't matter. I could not. Ugh.
But I acknowledge that there are things on both of our lists that I don't feel are necessary, needed items. I agree that we find a way to compromise, and I let you do some of your stuff and you let me do some of my stuff. But if you were to need help with something that is a priority to you, I'm going to respect you and I'm going to help you with it, just like you're going to do with me. Like getting the Christmas dishes out for me, the winter dishes out.
If there's anything on that list that you're talking about that you no longer need, give me that list, because I'm going to be on my way to Goodwill to drop off my old work trench coat after this conversation because I don't even want it in the house. Sheri, last question, are you able to listen to this self-prioritization, these instincts of putting yourself first without feeling guilt? Or is there still, even though you know it's right, you know it's the thing you're going to do, like when you told me, no, Matt, I don't want to talk about your stupid soccer thing for 5 minutes, it's 20 minutes. I did not
say it like that.
No, you didn't. When you said no.
Felt?
No.
Is that just how you felt?
No, not really.
Okay.
But when you said no, is there any, even though you know it's the right thing to do you still feel guilty?
No, because we didn't delay it for too long. And then you and I talked about my side of it. Like with, you know, I was able to say, hey, I'm really feeling this way. I'm feeling underwater right now.
Yeah.
And I really need to respect what level of anxiety I'm at, and I need to perform my best. And so maybe, you know, taking care of myself right now and prioritizing this and having that focus.
Yeah.
You know, and then we worked it out. Like, it's not like I put it off.
Well, we didn't delay it very long. That's because I went and put my trench coat on and stood next to your desk and stared at you until you dropped everything to talk to me. Listener, did you hear something today that is valuable to you? Please support Stigma, the 501c3 organization that brings you the Untoxicated podcast. We know you are listening on your phone. Why not open that Venmo app and send a fully tax-deductible donation to @Matt-Salis with the last 4 digits of 1412. Any amount is great and much appreciated. That's Matt-Salis, last 4 1412. And while you've got that phone open, please go to untoxicatedsurvey.org and click radio buttons to help us learn what you've been through. Thank you for listening to the Untoxicated Podcast. You've got this, and we've got you.